Donald Trump recently made headlines with a provocative statement at a Wall Street event, claiming that the media has tamed down and likes us much better now. He added a thinly veiled warning that if this newfound harmony doesn't persist, he'll take them on again. This assertion, coupled with the broader shifts in media dynamics, raises significant questions about the role and independence of journalism under an administration known for its combative relationship with the press. The statement comes against the backdrop of growing criticism of legacy media's perceived acquiescence. Figures like Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski on MSNBC have been scrutinized for their coverage, as have major media magnates such as Jeff Bezos of The Washington Post. Bezos, who faced backlash for allegedly pulling an editorial critical of Trump before the election, has since reportedly softened his tone, even speaking positively about Trump at a New York Times DealBook conference. Similarly, the Los Angeles Times has undergone structural changes under its billionaire owner, raising eyebrows about editorial independence. Mark Zuckerberg, while not a traditional media owner, holds significant influence as the head of Facebook and Threads, key platforms for news distribution. His decision to financially support Trump's inauguration has further blurred the lines between media and politics. These developments collectively contribute to the perception of a tamed media landscape, where critical voices are subdued in favor of survival. Trump's choice of words, tamed like a little puppy, has sparked outrage among some observers, but has largely gone unchallenged by mainstream media outlets. The silence, critics argue, reflects a troubling trend: the erosion of media's role as a watchdog and its transformation into a more compliant entity. This shift is particularly concerning given the media's self-proclaimed status as the bedrock of democracy. The implications of a docile media are profound. Legacy media, already struggling with declining viewership and revenue, is increasingly reliant on business interests and billionaire owners. This dependence undermines its ability to challenge power effectively. As Donald Trump consolidates influence, the question arises: how can the media reclaim its independence and credibility? One potential solution lies in the rise of independent media outlets. Unlike their legacy counterparts, these platforms are not beholden to corporate interests or billionaire benefactors. Examples like Democracy Docket, led by Mark Elias, demonstrate the potential of independent journalism to provide fearless and unfiltered reporting. These outlets, driven by subscriptions and reader support rather than advertising revenue, are gaining traction as audiences seek alternatives to the perceived complacency of traditional media. However, the growth of independent media also raises concerns about partisanship. Critics worry that the decline of legacy media will lead to a fragmented landscape dominated by partisan outlets, potentially exacerbating political polarization. Proponents of independent media counter that independence doesn't necessarily equate to partisanship. Platforms across the political spectrum, from left-leaning to right-leaning, can maintain editorial integrity by prioritizing transparency and accountability over corporate or political agendas. The transition from legacy to independent media represents a seismic shift in the industry. Legacy media's business model, built on advertising revenue and mass appeal, is increasingly out of step with the demands of a more discerning audience. In contrast, independent outlets thrive on a direct relationship with their readers, offering content tailored to niche interests and values. This shift reflects a broader trend in media consumption, where audiences prioritize quality and relevance over convenience. Despite these opportunities, the path forward is fraught with challenges. Independent media must navigate financial sustainability while maintaining editorial independence. Building trust with audiences requires consistent transparency and a commitment to high journalistic standards. Moreover, independent outlets must compete with the vast resources and reach of legacy media, which, despite its challenges, still wields significant influence. The stakes are high. As Trump's administration continues to shape the media landscape, the need for robust and independent journalism has never been greater. The media's role as a check on power is fundamental to democracy, and its ability to fulfill this role hinges on its independence. Whether through legacy institutions rediscovering their mission or the rise of independent platforms, the future of media will play a pivotal role in shaping the political and cultural landscape of the United States. The role of media in shaping public discourse and influencing elections has become more pronounced than ever, but there is a growing disparity between how media ecosystems function on the right and left. Independent media has the potential to flourish, yet it requires a fundamental shift in strategy, particularly among progressive outlets. Cable networks and traditional newspapers operate within a commercial framework that often prioritizes revenue from games, puzzles, recipes, and local advertisements. While there is nothing inherently wrong with these revenue streams, they reveal how detached these platforms are from being the primary vehicle for serious political messaging. Legacy media platforms like the New York Times and the Washington Post are often perceived by liberals as allies in disseminating progressive narratives. However, they do not act as message distribution systems for the Democratic Party or the broader leftist movement. Instead, their commitment lies in journalism and the pursuit of neutrality, which sometimes places them at odds with progressive messaging. Conversely, the right has mastered the art of crafting and distributing its messages through a tightly controlled media infrastructure. Outlets like Fox News, OEN, Newsmax, Breitbart, and the Daily Wire act as echo chambers for conservative talking points, ensuring the messaging remains unfiltered and unchallenged. This cohesive strategy allows them to deliver narratives exactly as intended, bypassing the scrutiny and reframing that might occur in neutral or oppositional outlets. This asymmetry highlights a critical flaw in how progressives approach media. Progressive leaders often spend considerable effort crafting precise messages only to hand them off to outlets like the New York Times, which do not inherently align with their movement's goals. This results in diluted messaging and a missed opportunity to build a robust left-leaning media infrastructure. To address this imbalance, the left must embrace the need for independent progressive media. Platforms like Democracy Docket and independent shows with strong progressive leanings must receive more attention, funding, and exclusives. Politicians and political actors aligned with progressive values should prioritize these outlets over legacy media. By doing so, they not only strengthen the independent media landscape, but also ensure that their messages are disseminated in a manner consistent with their intentions. The question of values plays a central role in media consumption and engagement. If a progressive's values align with the coverage and narratives presented by legacy media, they may choose to support these outlets. However, if their values are better reflected in the work of independent progressive platforms, then their time, attention, and financial support should go there instead. Politicians, too, must recognize this dynamic. By giving exclusives and content to progressive outlets, they amplify their message while fostering the growth of media entities that share their ideological framework. Legacy media often prioritizes the First Amendment's guarantee of a free press, but can overlook other critical democratic principles, such as the right to vote, bodily autonomy, and fair elections. For progressives, it is essential to engage with media that values the full spectrum of democracy. Supporting independent media not only reinforces these broader values, but also challenges the dominant narrative set by right-wing media. Over time, this approach can shift the Overton window, which the right has dominated for decades, dragging even ostensibly neutral outlets toward conservative positions. The internet has democratized information distribution, making it more mainstream than traditional legacy media. In this attention economy, the most valuable currency is time. Progressives must direct their time and attention to platforms that reflect their values, creating a counterbalance to the right's dominance in the media landscape. This shift has the potential to show legacy media that there is value in exploring perspectives that lean left, encouraging a more balanced representation of ideologies. Donald Trump's presidency underscores the influence a single figure can wield over legacy media. Even before taking office, Trump had managed to tame the mainstream media by leveraging their desire for access and their dependency on narratives that drive engagement. This relationship highlights the vulnerabilities of legacy media, their reliance on access to the administration, and their entanglement with broader business interests. From corporate ownership to financial dependencies, many legacy media outlets are constrained in ways that prevent them from fully challenging Trump or right-wing narratives. Progressive independent media does not seek access to power in the same way. It does not rely on government contracts, space exploration projects, or cloud server sales. This independence allows it to critique power structures without fear of financial or political repercussions. By supporting these outlets, progressives can foster a media ecosystem that is unafraid to challenge the status quo. Cooperation among progressive media outlets further strengthens this ecosystem. Independent commentators and platforms often promote one another, recognizing that a rising tide lifts all ships. This spirit of collaboration contrasts sharply with the competitive, siloed nature of legacy media. By subscribing to and supporting progressive platforms, viewers can amplify diverse voices within the movement, ensuring a robust and resilient media landscape. Ultimately, building a progressive media infrastructure is about more than just countering right-wing narratives. It's about creating a space where progressive values can thrive and influence public discourse. By shifting focus away from legacy media and toward independent outlets, progressives can reclaim the narrative and ensure their messages resonate with the audiences they aim to reach.